Hello, everyone. We just got done with our playthrough of Onimusha Warlords. Kind of can't see it behind me there, but here, I'll hold this up for you. Ta-da! Onimusha Warlords. We played the PS2 version. I know there's other versions of the game, but we played specifically the PS2 version. As always, whenever we complete a game, I like to talk about it from a mechanical standpoint, from a story standpoint, and then from an overall standpoint. So mechanically, this one's very interesting. It is a tank-controlled, like, action horror game. It's a weird niche. It's a weird niche that you don't see too often, and it's very interesting. I was kind of worried going into it. I have not played the Resident Evils. I know. Don't crucify me in the comments or anything. We'll get to them. Believe me, they're on the list. They're on the pile. But I was interested to play this one, and I know it's not an RE game, but you know, but I was a little worried because I was like, I don't know if it's really gonna like flow very well, how it's gonna work, but overall mechanically it worked well, surprisingly. Like once you get used to like how you have to move, which isn't very hard, if you've played a lot of like tank control stuff anyways. You could just move and slash. There's different weapons that handle differently. You've got a couple of ranged weapons. You have 3 different melee weapons, which all can be powered up. They also have a special element to them that you can use, and each one of them has their own like bar, so you can use them in succession. So you can use all your fire stuff, then all your lightning stuff, then all your wind stuff, and of course you regenerate through orbs in combat. And what I really liked about the system is they don't give you a lot of healing, but as you kill monsters, they have a chance to drop orbs, which can heal you. So if you get good enough at the combat where you're not taking hits, like, you won't need to use the healing, but even if you do need to use the healing, you can still heal through orbs. Its bosses are less likely, it seems, to drop health, but they do still drop it on occasion. Which was a very interesting system. There's also like a kind of a mock level up system. It's basically just get enough currency, in this case it's souls, to fill up a bar to make a thing more powerful. There's not really like, that's only the choice. Only choice you have is really what you want to level up and win. But that choice is also kind of not really a thing because you have to level up the orbs. So each weapon is broken into the weapon itself and the orb that it has. And the orb opens up locks. And you have to have high-level orbs to open up higher-level locks. So there can be some grinding involved depending on how you level and stuff, but at the end of the game we ended up having like 16 extra levels that we just couldn't do anything with, essentially. So I don't think that you really have to grind. It's just if you grind early you can get a little bit more powerful and maybe not as struggle as much. But the combat surprisingly is fluid. Once you learn how to like switch between the targeting, basic, you know, attacking with targeting, attacking without targeting, dodge targeting. There's also a thing, I think it's timing based, where I don't know what the timing is, but where you can just insta-kill somebody. There's like a little flash on the screen and then they just die. It doesn't matter what their health is. I don't think that works on bosses, obviously, but on like regular enemies, you can just insta-kill them. There's a chance to insta-kill them. So I'm not sure exactly how to pull that off consistently, but that's kind of helpful. But yeah, and then using your block accordingly. We didn't block nearly as much as we probably should have, because I really didn't depend on that system until later in the game. But you can block quite a bit. But yeah, so it was for a tank controlled like action horror game. It actually controlled really, really well. Like there was only times that I really felt like I was fighting the game is when I was fighting the camera. It wasn't because you don't have control of the camera; it's fixed camera angles. But other than trying to get in position where the camera doesn't just keep flipping on you, I didn't really have any problems with the combat and stuff. The monsters, the demons you fight do get harder, and they do get like abilities to deal with. But overall, again, once you kind of get the combat down, you kind of can find those openings or make those openings and move forward yourself. There's also like different holding the controller in a specific like left and slash, right and slash. I know I did that backwards, but up slash, down slash. They all do different things. Like one of them's a kick that can knock people down. One of them is like a poke, so you can kind of like poke at people that are a little bit of a distance. And then of course you've got like your horizontal slashes and stuff. And you can mix and match those, which is very interesting. They all seem to have like a similar but still different combo than your normal slashes. And then the rest of it mechanically is you do have some puzzles. It's basically there are like 3 types of puzzles. There are puzzle boxes where you have to get numbers in the right order by like turning them. There's decipher boxes where you get books throughout the game and you have to use the symbols that are underneath the words to answer questions for the box. And then there is one big puzzle segment. It's a big trap puzzle segment that you have to go through, and that's basically it for puzzles. There's not really much else than that. It's just find key, open door, fight demons, find objects you need to progress, that kind of thing, from a mechanical standpoint. So I think that's basically it. We had the item to be able to get the strongest weapon, but the game did not indicate to us that that we needed to use that with a different character. And as far as I know, there's no way to go back and get that, which is very disappointing. I was really disappointed at the end of the game, because the end of the game locked us out of the potential to get all the fluorite and to get the final weapon. We did get all the armor, but we didn't get the special weapon, and we did do the 20 levels, so we did everything we needed to do to get it. It just wasn't clear that we needed to use the second character, which there are 2 characters you play. One is your main character, you play most of it, and then there's like 3 or 4 segments of the other character. And she's significantly weaker, but she's faster, so she's more about movement and stuff like that. But apparently I think she was supposed to use something in order to unlock the final weapon. It just wasn't clear, and I find that very, very irritating. I do not like when games give you free reign at the end of the game, but then lock out the ability to finish off the things that you would do, because half the castle was blocked off because it had been destroyed. And then the area where we would go to interact with that statue was also blocked off because of doors that had already been unlocked, by the way. That's another thing. Whenever Kaede, which is the second character, would unlock something, it wouldn't stay unlocked, which made 0 sense. But I really didn't like that we got locked out of stuff. That is probably my biggest pet peeve in gaming in general, but also in this game, is just being locked out at the end to be like, well, sorry, you missed the one moment that you were supposed to do the thing, and we didn't tell you exactly how to do the thing anyways. And it just, because I interacted with the statue multiple times, but you have to use the item on the statue. But again, it doesn't tell you that Kaede needs to be the one to use the item on the statue. You would think that the person you're getting the final weapon for would be the one to use the item on the statue, but that's not how it works, apparently. So really disappointed in that decision. And people are like, well, it gives you a chance to go back and play it again. No. I don't think it's necessary to lock your players out of that stuff. If you want them to collect stuff, let them collect stuff, right? There's 0 reason why we should have been locked out of that. But anywho, story-wise, basically the long and the short of the story is you play Samanosuke, which is a well-trained samurai, essentially, who is we see at the start of the game watching Nobunaga Oda's armies. Nobunaga Oda gets killed, supposedly, but then he makes a deal with a demon, and the demon starts sprouting from under this castle, and Samanosuke has to rescue Princess Yuki from this demon-infested castle, because they want to use her for a ritual to make a full-on demon pact, a powerful demon pact with Nobunaga Oda. So that's your quest, is to save the princess from the castle. It's pretty simple, but there is a lot of depth through some of the lore bits. The one of the bosses has been doing experiments, so you could tell why all these demons kind of look different, is because it feels like some of them are all coming from experiments and stuff. So there's a little bit of interesting lore behind why the certain demons look a certain way and all of that stuff. But yeah, basically Samanosuke and Kaede just try to make their way through. They do save a little boy who also is trapped in this castle. Is being tried. There's a guy who works for the Oda clan who keeps trying to recruit you, who also is trying to kidnap the boy. So you end up saving him and Princess Yuki, or trying to save him and Princess Yuki at the end. And then, of course, you go down where you would normally go. You go down to hell, you fight your demon lord, you save the day. But you, as a character, end up disappearing, is how the ending puts it. So you're never found. But we do see an after credit scene with Samanosuke kind of standing on a hill, like looking out. So it looks like Samanosuke definitely makes it out of the demon realm, but there you go. And that's literally the story. Like, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on. It's a very concise story for what it wants to do. So overall, I would definitely recommend this game. It was actually a lot of fun to play. Like I said, my biggest pet peeve is just being locked out of content. I want to experience content. I want to find all your things. Please, please, please do not lock me out of your content. It's so annoying to me. And I would even recommend, if you have a PS2 or a PS3, I don't know how the PS3 emulation works, because do remember PS3 emulates hardware, and that can break certain games. But this copy is $15. That is for a basically like new copy of Onimusha Warlords. Is $15 physical, so not bad. I do know there's like PC ports. I do know the Xbox. I think the Xbox version has extras or something, or there's like a harder version of this as well. I'm just saying the PS2 version, the one we played, I highly recommend. It was a really, really good time. I really did enjoy it. And I think for $15, that's pretty solid. I think it took us about 8 hours ish, 7-8 hours, and that's with getting basically everything. We missed 3 floor rights, and we didn't get the final weapon, which was just an interaction basically. But we found basically everything else, I think. So yeah, it was a pretty complete run. And I don't, like I said, the only peeve I have is just being locked out of content. I just don't like when games do that. But it's an older game, stuff happens, and I think you should play it. I was hesitant, but now I'm a pretty solid fan of Onimusha Warlords. I think it's worth your time. So either get a copy of it physical, or maybe find a digital copy if they're available, or whatever version you play the game. It's definitely worth your time. And thank you so much for watching this review. I do appreciate everybody on YouTube subscribing, liking, commenting, all that stuff. I do read all the comments. So if you want to leave your thoughts down below on what you thought of Onimusha Warlords, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, I would love to hear from you. And again, don't forget to subscribe, because we'll have a ton more reviews and a ton more playthroughs coming to you throughout the end of the year. We've got October coming up of 2024, and it's going to be chocked full of a bunch of horror games, so I think we'll have a good time on the channel. And I will see you in the next review. Bye-bye.